Welcome back. It's Mr. RKNK, Real Currency, No Counterfeits, where we do the best at reviews like we do. Today, or tonight rather, we're actually reviewing a few Glocks. America's favorite pistol is what they say, right? Alright, so let's jump right into it. I won't be disassembling the Glocks or anything. We're just going to get a pretty much visual look, and we might compare them to some sizes of some other guns and things like that. If you've noticed, you probably can guess by now, my favorite caliber of a pistol is a 40 caliber, so I have quite a few 40 caliber pistols. But I actually do have a 9 on the table also. But the very first thing that we're gonna jump into is this. Well, let's start out like we should. Let me show you that all the guns are safe and empty, all right? So the very first thing is no magazine in it, no rounds in it, all right? No magazine in it, no rounds in it, no magazine in it, no rounds in it, and the last one, no magazine in it, no rounds in it. All right, so now that we know that all the guns are safe, we can do a little bit of talking. All right, so the very first one is going to be the Glock 22. This is a Generation 2 Glock. What distinguishes it from the Generation 3 Glock, in which I have right here also, is the front grooves on the handle. Glock actually incorporated the front grooves on the handle, I assume for the better grip. The thing about it is, though, some people prefer to not have the grooves, and some people prefer the grooves. They're both pretty good guns. I think the only other difference is the Gen 3 also has an accessory rail, where this is an earlier model of a Gen 2 in which they don't have accessory rails. This is a very early model of the Gen 2. They actually came out with 2 different models of the Gen 2, and if I'm not mistaken, the second model had a accessory rail which you can mount on like scopes and lights and things along those natures. This one actually has night sights on it. And a lot of law enforcement actually carry Glock 22, so probably let you know that it's a pretty reliable firearm. 5.5 pound trigger, and like Glocks do, have a very crisp reset, as you can hear loud on camera. All right, this one right here, the Gen 3, we actually put some grip tape up there to help the grip. And both of them and all of them will eventually get the grip tape. We put some here and we put some there. And the same thing pretty much. Another difference that just popped to mind is the loaded chamber indicator. And as you can see right here, the loaded chamber indicator in the Gen 2 and the Gen 3 is slightly different. And what happens is, this one is actually easier to notice when the gun is loaded. When the gun is loaded, this rigid area right here actually protrudes a little bit from the side of the slide, which actually is a better safety mechanism for when someone needs to know whether their firearm is loaded or unloaded. Very good firearm. Can take a multitude of magazines. I have a 30 round magazine for it. I have a 15 round magazine, and I believe it can take a whole nother one also. This isn't the largest of the 40 caliber Glocks. This is the size right under the largest. And from that, the recoil is great because of the size is very manageable, and I have no issues out of the gun at all. Another 40 caliber Glock I have, sometimes my concealed carry gun, is a Glock 27. One of America's favorite pistols. People love the Glock 27. As a matter of fact, if you try to find one, a lot of times it's hard to find one. The size of it is very concealable when it comes to the length of the pistol. The width is kind of thick, but the thicker width actually is compensated and explained by the fact that it is a double stack magazine. The capacity of this one, I think, is 9-in-1. And a good thing about these magazines, and if I had some on hand, I actually have some in the other room, but these little guns can actually take the Glock 23 magazines. It can take the magazine that comes standard with it, and it can also take the larger 30 round magazines. And I mean, they stick all the way out here. Might not be ideal for trying to carry the gun with the larger magazines, but when it comes to the range, it's plenty of fun. All right. As you see, it also has the protruding loaded chamber indicator, just like in the Generation 3 Glock. Finger grooves, and the difference between this. All right, so I was talking and my grandma beeped in, and I hit ignore, so don't tell her. But I was in the middle of the review, so I call her back. But the difference between these baby Glocks is what they call them, and the full size 40 caliber and 9mm Glocks is the recoil system in them is almost like the Generation 4 recoil system. All right, so what you see is a recoil spring here is a double coiled recoil spring, and when I break these down, you're actually gonna see the difference is a single recoil spring. And the reason behind, I think, Glock doing that, as you can see the difference, the reason behind Glock doing that is, with this being a smaller frame pistol, the recoil is generally going to be very much higher than it would in this system, being just that the velocity is going to be greater because it's going to come out the chamber very quickly. So I think this was what do you call it, a tactic to pretty much minimize the recoil when it comes to these firearms. And the last one, once I put this one and assemble this one back together, that I'm going to actually talk about tonight is what they call America's favorite pistol, the Glock 19. I love this gun. Not much to say, I just love the gun. Fits in my hand. I think it was specifically made for my hands, but I guess there's a lot of other people out there that feel the same way. Generation 3, as you can see, I like the Generation 3. I had the option to get the Generation 4, and the difference between the Generation 4 and the Generation 3 is the 4 comes with adjustable back straps. The recoil system is actually different. It has springs that look a lot like the ones that I just showed you in the baby Glocks, and the grips here are a lot more aggressively textured, which a lot of people complain about, and some people like it. I generally prefer the Gen 3. They're pretty cool, but I love the gun. This one I do not have night sights on. I actually have the standard Glock sights, which I actually like. A lot of people hate, but it's easy for me to line up and hit my target. Great gun, comes in 9mm, and I just like this gun. This is probably my favorite one of the Glock line. People love it, I like it, and it likes you. So if you want to choose a Glock to get, any one would be a great choice. But if I had to go with it, this one is the all-purpose one because it is a mid-size one. So it's shorter than the other ones, excluding the baby Glocks. And the capacity is large enough for you to actually, you know, carry it and be comfortable. It also can take the larger magazine that comes from the 17, and the other one I can't think of off the top of my head, but this one can take 32 shots. So if you want to go to the range and have plenty of ammunition, it's a good addition to have. And also, while it's on my mind, this Glock also comes in 9mm, and I actually can get a conversion kit to convert the 40 to 9mm, but you can't do vice versa. But this is the Glock 27. They also make the Glock 26, which is 9mm, and it is the exact same size. The only difference is the barrel size is obviously for 9mm, and that too can take the larger magazines. So people love the baby Glocks. I love the baby Glock, but if you ask me, it's nothing like a 19. All right, but this is Mr. RKNK, real currency, no counterfeits. Until the next time, all right?